the trenches. Yeah, they will make you think. They'll make you think it's actually really not bad to be living in the ghetto. So, you know, when you see Wizkid is making his video from Surulere. Some of you who live in Surulere will be wondering, like, shit, this same Surulere look beautiful in this video. When that video goes to the trenches and they show all the children, some of them, who are living in poverty, and you see them smiling and dancing and all of that, or driving their most expensive cars in their musical videos, in the ghetto, in the roughest of the roughest areas, in Lagos and other places. Even you living in that ghetto, you could be one that say, I want ghetto fine, sha. I will realize this ghetto say fine. But the reality is that they are portraying Nigeria artistically. They are portraying Nigeria as a hang on. Give me a sec. Don't worry. Every time I see your comment, okay, I'll take care of you and I'll possibly answer it. Okay. Number one, you do not have any reason if you are not offended by the people I am talking about. Take, for example, somebody said, Mayegun cannot take half of what he's dishing out. Tell me, you that said that, look at me. What have I done to affect your life negatively? Like, what do you think I have done as Mayegun that affects your life negatively? The people I am talking about, what have they done to affect your lives in that contraption positively? Why would you abuse me or attack me when I am talking about those who have destroyed Nigeria or destroying Nigeria? It's a good question, though. Like, okay, I want to criticize Mayegun. What will your criticism be based on? Because you are reacting to the people I spoke about. Abi? And then you want me to take that, because whatever you want to abuse me for, it's based on your reaction to the people I am talking about. The people I am talking about, well, I mean, were the things I am saying about them lies, your criminal politicians, if I say something about them, like I do all the time, was I making them up? So you that want to abuse me, that think I can't take what I am dishing out, I don't know you. I'm not even talking about you. So it's not as if to say I'm talking about you and you want to respond to me. Like if I'm talking about, like, okay, you, Director Scott, you, this person, then you can respond to me. Right? It don't make sense. I am not your governors. I am not your politicians. I am not one of those who make decisions in that contraption. So why would you attack me or abuse me? Because I'm talking about those whose actions affect me too. Reason them now. I'm just saying, when I speak about your criminal governors, when I say something about your criminal politicians or your criminal pastors or your religious, criminals and all that, I'm not talking about you. You are just a viewer who take offense. You are either offended because of the language I'm using on them, which is not you. It's not on you. So why would you want to abuse me? If not because you are possibly a closet supporter of these criminals. That's the only way you can respond to me. I wouldn't mind if Tinubu's children take offense because I'm talking about their father or their mother. Well, that would be like fear to say, you are talking about my daddy. You that want to abuse Mayegun on their behalf. Well, what exactly would you say Mayegun have said about you that offended you? You don't get. And I know you have always been there. You will always be there. No, don't worry. I mean, Sunday sermon, that's the way, that is how we roll. I'm not going to derail from the whole conversation. I just want to kind of, give it back to them. Like, if you're a Ronuku, The only reason why you'll be offended, you want to dish out to me, like what would you say, okay, Mayegun has done to affect your life? Nothing. I have not done anything to affect your lives, negatively than positively. So you are only offended because Mayegun is talking about people that somehow you like. You don't want him to talk about them. So therefore, you can then abuse Mayegun, call me names, make up all the nonsense that will make you feel better, just because you are offended. I'm talking about the rogues and the criminals in that contraption. Do you see that? Okay. So, Davido, from a very privileged background, his own reality is the dream or fantasy of so many victims of that contraption today. You all want to have an amazing career. You want to have a stable family, kind of like a stable financial life, Abi? But the rogues deciding for the millions of you in that contraption today, they are taking all of that away from you. Devalued your currencies. Right? Devalued your currencies. They are harboring terrorists enough that they are protecting them. Those ones in uniform and those ones in the rags and carrying guns. So their actions have denied you and millions of you the reality that is that of a David. So the Ronukus want you to lie that Nigeria is a great country. Okay, Nigeria is a better country. Now the leadership problem we get. Meanwhile, we have horrible people who are pretty much, their criminal leaders are the reflection of the majority of the Nigerians inside that contraption. Your leaders are your reflection. When I was doing my own research, which I have shared here many times, I realized that if you were born in the 80s, for example, you'll be fed with the stories of the 60s, 70s, and the decisions and the indecisions of those people of that era that changed and reshaped the contraption to what it was when you were born in the 80s. You'll be hearing the names like, Yakubu Golos. You'll be hearing the names like, Babangida, the names like Obang Paros and Co. You get Bokuwari, Danjuma, all those names. But when you look very well today, you realize that majority of those who are destroying Nigeria today, these are new faces who were never part and parcel of those who destroyed it 40, 50 years back. So you have new crop of criminals who were also out. They are from the same people who are victims victims of today. When you look at your local government chairman, when you look at your state governors, these were not people who were once in power 10, 20 years ago. Right? Because the system will continue to pick from those of you who are waiting for your turn, lying to yourselves, never willing to say the truth. Lying to yourself that Nigeria is a great country. Now only bad leadership we get. No, you also have bad citizenship. Bad people looking around, waiting for their turn, justifying the criminality, defending it, and shutting down anybody who says the truth per se. Well, if they don't like the person. What did David say that Tinubu didn't say in Rio a few days ago? I'm going to replay this. Like I said, I've played this before. And I need to warn you, this was Tinubu. He wasn't talking about how great Nigeria is. He was not talking about the potential of the Nigerians. He was right there, lamenting, nearly crying, begging for money. He's got no solution, no nothing. And he was supposed to be the president of the most populous nation on earth. I mean, most populous black nation on earth. Nigeria. Listen to Kolu again. Remember this.
Luis Lula da Silva, the President of the Federative Republic of Brazil, other world leaders here present, Your Excellencies, Head of State and Government. It is an honor to address this gathering of the G20 Leaders Summit taking place in this beautiful and historic city of Rio. Let me, at the onset, express gratitude to the government of Brazil for extending the invitation to us, and to me in particular, as Nigerian, and to highlight the problem of poverty and hunger. The session devoted to fighting poverty and hunger. I am from Nigeria. It's better to give you the true picture of what's going on. In Africa, we have terrorism challenges, insecurity challenges that are preventing farmers to even go to their farm. We have problem in Sudan, displacing people. We have problem of climate change, flooding, destroying crops. And we have problem of protectionism. We have problems. It is very important to make it clear and louder here. We have problem of out of school children. We have problem of funding free education or giving our children 1 meal a day in a classroom to even make them pay attention to school. Africa has that problem. And the problem is compounded by some other conflicts around the world in Ukraine and others, the war on Gaza Strip. That's poverty-driven problems. What do I do to help the small-scale industry? The cost of funding is expensive. What do I do to get power to industrialize my country? The cost of funding is extremely expensive. The developed world need to extend these promises that you have heard here today. I must salute every one of you. But support the continent. The neglect of Africa is a danger to the rest of humanity. And we have to lift one another up. We have to build an inclusive economy that takes into account the population growth. In Nigeria, I have over 250 million souls. The fight against hunger and poverty is not a matter of choice, but a matter of priority for me. But where do I get those helps? I have a very vibrant youth population, 70% below the age of 30. In schools, set up funding for their education. It's a challenge. And even if I have the fund, how do I turn it around? Reform, yes, I must. And I've embarked upon that aggressively. But as I go through that reform, I must equally see that the other hand, the hunger and poverty is resisting to all of us here. Investment in education, investment in health, investment in food security, cheaper financing, the risk in various African countries, putting us on a better and more progressive arrangement to prioritize food security and the agricultural reforms are necessary. We need to take action now and quickly. I'm glad Brazil has brought the question of hunger and poverty to the forefront. Why wish you a very successful deliberation. We've signed off for the contract, and I support all the efforts to eradicate.
Nuisance lele.
That was a Tinubu few days ago. So you tell me, if the person who is in charge to make decisions, all right, is not a private citizen, no, is the president of Nigeria, is the one that is making decisions. But where do I go? What do I do to find money? Well, who do I, like, are you mad? Of course, no doubt. All right. And enough to the people that are, pushing him on, or the praise singers. I want one year with you. Especially the ones who live abroad. The Olori Brukus that are loving Nigeria from abroad. The ones that will never relocate back to that shithole. Okay? And to them, Tinubu reform is working. Doyo Kuigbe yesterday said Tinubu reform will take another 2 years. Baba, say all these older lunatics, right? They are worse. I don't know which one is worse though. Because if you are an older weary and a younger weary, older weary are like the old wine, like it's very, very strong. And then the younger wearies are the energetic wearies, who are also very much duplicious, like pretentious too, right? Tinubu said his reform is working. Nigeria Naira collapsed again, since they said they are going to borrow another 2.2 billion. According to Wale Idun, the one that is in charge of Nigeria's economy, Wale Idun said they have been able to save $20 billion from Tinubu's policies. Even though a lot of people were wondering, okay, if you save $20 billion from subsidy removal, how come you are borrowing again? Well, the explanation is that it is not cash. It's not that we saved the cash. What we mean by saying we saved $20 billion, that's what he said. He said what they meant by, it didn't say that. I think it's some Ronukus that were like doing the annual before, interpreting what Wale Idun, what it meant. Okay, they said the $20 billion that Tinubu saved is an imaginary savings. Okay? It's not like it's a cash that it is saved. What Tinubu saved Nigeria from is whatever the Nigeria's debt is right now. If Tinubu did not remove subsidy, they said you should add $20 billion to it. If Tinubu did not start his reform, they said add $20 billion to the debt now. That would have been the current debt of Nigeria. These Olori Ronukus that have added more than $10 billion to Nigeria debt in a space of, what am I even talking about? They've added about $15 billion debt to Nigeria's debt in 18 months. But to them, they said if Tinubu had continued to pay subsidy, and then you were still buying a liter of petroleum for 200 naira, they said the debt of Nigeria would have possibly got close to 300 trillion naira. Tinubu and his gang, they have devalued Nigeria currency, naira, more than 15 times in 18 months. It's almost like every month they are devaluing the naira, every month. It took Nigeria rogues before Tinubu. It took them 63 years to take Nigeria from 70 kobo to $1, from 70 kobo to $1 to 700 naira to $1. It took them 63 years. Hang on, let's roll it back a bit, roll it back a bit. Okay? It took the rogues before APC, it took them 55 years to take Nigeria naira from, I know it used to be pounds. Okay, let's go to 1970. That's going to be like 45 years. It took the rogues before APC, 45 years to take Nigeria naira from 70 kobo to $1 in 1970 to 149 naira to $1. It took them 45 years. But it took APC, first 8 years. No, sorry, let's add them together. Okay, hang on. 8 years of Bokuwari. 8 years to take Nigeria naira from 149 naira official to $1. They took it to 700 naira to $1. It took Bokuwari 8 years. And that is a change of an extra of 450 or 550 naira. So it took Bokuwari 8 years to devalue Nigeria currency by 550%. 8 years. Guess how many years it took Tinubu to move Nigeria naira from 700 naira to $1 to 1,750 naira to $1. Today, 18 months. 18 months. That's how long it took Tinubu to devalue Nigeria naira by over 1,000%. 1,050%. That's the devaluation of Tinubu. The Oluwole trained economist. Person will go school before the school was in fact founded. Yeah, he attended this. He graduated from a school before the school was even founded. That's that Tinubu. In case if you don't know, 1,000 Nigeria naira lost 1,050 naira in 18 months. The devaluation continues. As long as they are borrowing, you will be going sorrowing. It's a very simple math. It's part of the IMF conditions, World Bank conditions, except for the sukuk. The sukuk, which is the Arabian loan. That one, no, they get interest according to them. There is no interest on sukuk because Islamic loan, no, they get interest. It's just for you to go and develop, build roads, build this, build that. Others, they're not that nice. So if you begin to calculate how much Tinubu has borrowed